morning on iBrand Daybreak. We're glad to be in your face this morning. We are glad to be in the studios this morning to dish you out with the latest happening in the world of business, politics, the health sector, entertainment sector, and what have you. iBrand Daybreak is your short bet for all of these interesting segments. My name is Margaret Opera, and I'm not doing this alone. As usual, I have my amazing co-host Michael Nat in the studio. Good morning, Michael.
Right here to do it again the way we do it every day on Daybreak. And today's edition, as usual, is going to be fantastic. Believe it. We have lined up for you, for your enjoyment this morning on the show, news update, a paper review. We have topic discussion. Got to be part of it to know exactly what we have in store for you. We have sports review and our news segment, social media. Now, that's social media buzz. We have to bring you the news update right away. Your state governor, Shea Makinde, on Tuesday promised to safeguard lives of residents of the state, saying the government would do everything possible to prevent the recurrence of violent attacks on Igongo and other communities in the state. Governor Makinde made the promise in Igongo, Ibaraba North local government area, where he visited the families of last week's tax, stating that the state would empower local security guards and vigilantes, in addition to other measures taken to ensure that insecurity became a thing of the past in the land.
Now, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, said it had tested over 2 million samples of the coronavirus as the country recorded 102 additional infections. The Public Health Agency noted that the additional infections brought the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 166,918. The 102 new cases have been reported from 9 states, which are Ondo, 68, Bayelsa, 17, Kaduna, 5, Lagos, 3, Rivers State, 3, Akwa Ibom, 2, Gombe, 2, Ebonyi, 1, and Oyo, 1. The agency added that the country's active cases now stood at 1,542.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump has congratulated Nigeria on suspending the operations of Twitter in the country. Trump, in a statement on Tuesday night, commended Nigeria for the action, calling on more countries to ban Twitter and Facebook for not allowing free and open speech. The federal government had on Friday suspended the operations of Twitter indefinitely due to its use for activities that were capable of undermining Nigeria's corporate existence.
Now, the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, arrived in Bamako on Tuesday with a delegation and once again as a mediator of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, for talks with the new Malian government. Goodluck Jonathan addressed the media saying there was no major expectation as the military officials agreed that the prime minister would be a civilian. The sworn in on Monday as president of the transitional government, Colonel Assimi Goita, has further strengthened his hold on power in the West African country after spearheading his second coup in 9 months.
About 30,000 nurses in New Zealand walked off their jobs on Wednesday in a nationwide 8-hour strike after negotiations with the government for better pay and working conditions failed. The strike came after the New Zealand Nurses Organization rejected 1.4% pay hike proposed by the District Health Board earlier this week. The government said the nurses' demands amounted to a 17% increase that I could not afford, but pledged to continue the negotiations.
All right, now at this point, we'll wrap it up for the news update. Up next, we'll be reviewing some of the top stories in our national dailies. We'll have a guest to join us to do that, but we'll do that after the short break, so stay with us.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This this fufu is so nice.
It's true unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiviv Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiviv family.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash. Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's true unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores.
You're welcome once again, and that is if you're joining, you're welcome. This is Daybreak midweek, and right here it's time for us to bring you the headlines and for some of today's Nigerian dailies. We have here in the studio to help us thrash out some burning issues on the papers today, Dr. Dayo Kayode, political technocrat. Good morning this morning, Doc.
Morning this morning.
Good morning, Dr. Dayo.
How are you? Good morning. You looking so shining.
Thank you.
What's the secret behind it?
I'll say it's good.
I love that. You can't beat that. Okay, let's now start with the Punch. Khan warns as AGF vows to try Adeboye VIP offenders. This is on Twitter ban violation. With riders there, we're definitely on it to ensure the prosecution of all violators, declares Malami's office. At Deboye, other clerics, VIP's prosecution will compound Nigeria's problems, Khan tells FG. And House of Representatives split. Tempers rise over FG's ban. PDP lawmakers stage walkout. Now, let's go to the very top of the paper. Buhari service chiefs, others meet. Uzodinma blames opposition again. Now, World Bank raises Nigeria's 2021 growth forecast to 1.8%. 200 fresh Nigerian doctors in UK swell list to 8,384.
I now move to the nation. From the top to the bottom, the top says CBN raises customs exchange rates to 404.97 naira to dollar, and Igbo leaders, SANs, it's time to end killings. Wabwe say Kalu caution. Senate honors TB Joshua. World Bank, Nigeria's L8 growth tied to stable rate. LNG revenue hits 110 billion US dollars. Moving on, the next says Twitter suspension throws reps into rowdy session. Now the top story says MAN LCCI laments slide in power supply to firms' homes. World Bank worries about energy deficit. Businesses, households grown. So here are some of the stories on the Nation newspaper.
The Daily Sun now. Insecurity, Ohaneze to meet with northern elders. Buhari, Obasanjo, Abdul Salami thus meet over insecurity to discuss find solution to security challenges in the country, put elected leaders on their toes. Onayeko. Now, North Central leaders reject secession. Mal Security Summit, Twitter ban. PDP reps walk out. Igongok massacre won't happen again, says Makinde. With rider there, asks FG to allow Amotekun use AK-47. Carlo cautions masterminds of insecurity in Southeast.
And now the Vanguard paper says, the top says World Bank upgrades Nigerian economic growth forecast to 1.8%. Page 19 has a story. And now moving on, Lai Mohammed on defense of Twitter ban says Malami will decide prosecution of Adeboye, Kumuyi and others on page 5. And federal government mauls death penalty for rail track vandals. Obasanjo, Abdul Salami, Sultan convene meeting to discuss pressing national issues. About insecurity, Amotekun has given Southwest hope in security management, coming from Akeredolu, the governor of Ondo State. Halts extrajudicial killings in Southeast now, coming from the church leaders. And federal government, the writer saying federal government acts striking judiciary parliamentary workers to call off strike. Now, man slaps French president. Page 28 or 26 rather of Vanguard has the story. And State of the Nation, help Buhari rescue Nigeria. Naba, Utomi, Mogalo, others urge ex-presidents. Page 3 has that story. And about the Gongo killings, northerners must not be attacked in Southwest. CNG warns Adams. Page 10 has the story. And now back to you, Dr. Dayo Kayode. You know, my colleague read one of the stories too, and I also read it on the Vanguard. Malami would decide prosecution of Adeboye, Kumuyi, and others. You know, they had a disclaimer saying their Twitter is not just for Nigeria, it's spread across many states, many nations rather in the world. So that's the reason they would not or might not be able to quit tweeting. And now this saying they're going to prosecute them for that we did say that's the right way to go about this, knowing that their organization is not just Nigerian based.
You see, this kind of topic, it's sometimes difficult to discuss because of the kind of sentiment Nigerians will put into it, forgetting that And every society operates within the confines of a law, either you like it or not. And there is nobody who should be above the law. With due respect, not just due, huge respect for Baba Deboye and Kumuyi, I would like to ask a question. Even in the Bible, which we are all privy to, there was a time Jesus Christ, that stands at the pivot of their preaching, was asked to pay tax. All right? To pay tax. And people were thinking that Jesus Christ, being in a higher realm than what is it called again? In Rome then.
The rest of the people.
Do you understand? Will not pay. You know what he said? He said, give to Caesar what is Caesar. All right? Another big tenet of the Bible is respect the constituted authority. Okay? Now, another question is this. All these churches, the registration of these churches, where are they domiciled? I don't know whether you understand. Where are they domiciled? Because I could remember sometimes ago when there was a particular law, Kama or whatever, Kama, that after 10 years, you should step down. And Baba Deboye stepped down, all right? And then assumed another position. Honestly speaking, when I read those statements from the two respected men of God, I thought, yes, even if they still want to be treating, because they also have branches, they shouldn't have pronounced it. Rather, underground, have meetings with the authority in place. Okay, there are ways in which you can cover some things for some people. But when you come up with a kind of a bragado on that, then what are you telling the populace? Okay, what are you telling the populace? Realizing that you have huge followership. So that means your huge followership too. We now say, since our leader is doing this, we can go against the law. We too can go against the law, which can lead to, I mean, nobody can even predict where such can lead to. You understand? Nobody can predict it. So to me, I will just advise Malami to be a bit careful in handling this issue, because it's an issue that is very, very delicate. Even though it will be handled, but then we should put diplomacy in handling it.
So what you're saying in effect is, one, nobody is above the law.
Don't put words into my mouth.
That's what I really want to find out.
But I've said it. I've said it all. And that's where diplomacy comes in. You know, I first of all said the two respected men of God, I mean, I'm too small to them in all ramification. So I have to be a bit careful. But at the same time, we have to say it the way it is. But applying diplomacy. And that's why I went to the Bible.
The way you are applying diplomacy.
And that's the way, that's why I went to Bible. Jesus Christ, who is the pivot of our preaching,
yes,
in Christendom. Even when he was asked to pay tax, he said, give to Caesar what is Caesar.
Caesar's.
And he's also said, look, you have to respect the constituted authority. So they should have allowed those two to guide their utterances. Even despite the fact that your churches were domiciled in Nigeria, registered with CAC. So if it's registered with CAC, that means you are under the obligation of the dictates of Nigeria, of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I was expecting them to be a bit quiet, even if they want to be tweeting based on their activities. Go to the, I mean, they have free entry and exit to the presidency. If Baba will sit down here today, they can call Buhari now and he will answer them. Please look at this, look at this, look at, and then people, nobody will know. The position they are occupied is very important. And for them to have come out that way that no, we cannot this and that, I mean, it can make their followers
rebel.
To become, I don't want to use that word, to become rebellious. I'm not saying what they have done is rebellious, because some people will want to interpret it to being rebellious. No, I'm not saying it. But something likely, I mean, their followers can I say, look at our leader now. This is the person we are looking up to, an epitome of their own emulation. Do you understand? Look at what he's doing. So we too, we can do it. And what happens in the country? Nobody can predict what will happen. So, and honestly speaking, I will still advise the government. I will still advise the government to be diplomatic in handling the issue.
If this issue is not adequately handled, don't you think some other Nigerians would want to violate it too?
But I've said it. I have said it. They have
other Nigerians, not necessarily members of the various
listen. They have huge followership. When I mean huge followership, there is also can there. Other churches are there. They are leaders to even so many other churches.
Yes.
So when I'm saying they are followers, it doesn't really mean people attending Redeem alone. People in Celestial Church could go that route. People in Anglican could go that route. People in Tribe could go that route. Except if, for instance, now look at Tribe. It too has huge followership. Bishop Okonkwo.
Yeah, Bishop Okonkwo.
If Bishop Okonkwo come out and say something that is not in tandem with what Baba Adeboye and Baba Kumuyi say, oh, okay, followers of trend might not follow that trend. But then, can you compare follower of trend with followers of Baba Kumuyi and Adeboye? No, you can't. Do you understand? At the same time, I will still plead and advise the government to be careful in handling this issue. All right? Because those out there, I mean, they should not be looking for how to manage the problem. Because there is a problem on ground now. Yeah. As regards this Twitter issue, there is a big problem on ground. And for it not to degenerate into chaos, the government, the whole thing rests on the government to be diplomatic and be careful
in its approach
in handling this issue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dayo Kayode, for sharing your thoughts on this. All right, that was Dr. Dayo Kayode, political technocrat. He just shared his thoughts on it and advised the government to apply diplomacy in whatever they're just about to do, just so it doesn't escalate to something we're not ready for. And now up next, we'll be discussing a very interesting topic, and it's very, very, very important. You shouldn't miss it. We're talking about cardiac arrest, the causes, risk factors, symptoms, and treatment. Because you know, health, they say, is wealth, and you have to be healthy, of course, to be wealthy. Now, up next, we'll have our guests join us very soon. But before then, we have a video to play to you. Just watch, and I would love to say be blessed though, but just watch and learn from it here.
Cardiac arrest basically is a heart arrest, right? So what this means is when you have a complete stoppage of your heart activity due to some reasons. So that's what we call cardiac arrest. Your heart stops functioning Usually some people complain about having chest pain. Usually comes up as sudden chest pain or sudden difficulty in breathing. Find people grabbing and holding their chest, complaining about severe pain. When someone comes in that state, we usually term it as cardiac arrest. So there are electrical activities that go on in the heart normally. Right, so there are things that could stop these electrical activities from functioning how they should happen. So like age, diet perhaps, lifestyle. So some people that do not exercise as regularly as they should can lead to a cardiac arrest, and some underlying conditions too as well, like diabetes, hypertension. So all this can lead to a cardiac arrest. Yes, so apart from the chest pain, which is usually excruciating, you have difficulty in breathing, like I said earlier. Some people complain of having nausea before they have that cardiac arrest. Some people complain of having pain not only in their chest, but also pain that moves to their arm too as well and underneath their jaw. So these are some warning signs. Some people come in sweaty too as well. Sweating, having palpitations, that they can hear their heartbeat in their head. All right, so all these are warning signs that can tell us that someone might be having a cardiac arrest. Age is a factor. So the older you become, your immunity gets weaker, your blood vessels become weaker too as well. So it might predispose you to having conditions like this, the cardiac arrest. Other factors include things like smoking, alcohol, so basically your lifestyle, your diet, not exercising properly too as well. They can all lead to having a cardiac arrest. They're usually confused, a cardiac arrest is when you have a sudden stoppage of your heart activity, while a heart attack might be ongoing for a long time. You have there are vessels that supply the heart normally. If you have a particular vessel supplying one part of the heart not functioning well, blood is not passing through that vessel as it should. Vessels supply blood to the heart, and this blood contains oxygen and nutrients. Imagine if these vessels are cut off. Okay, that means there's no supply of oxygen and nutrients to the heart. Now, when this is ongoing for a long period of time, the person might start to develop a heart attack. Whereas in a cardiac arrest, it is abrupt, a sudden stoppage of your heart activity. Breathing too, the person might become unconscious too as well. Okay, when you start to develop those symptoms that I told you about earlier, when you have the chest pain, when you have the difficulty in breathing, all those signs, that's when you need to call your doctor. And then you probably have some tests done and then treatment.
That clip you just watched was designed to help you prepare your mind for the major topic which we are delving into right away. It's still Daybreak here on iBrand midweek. According to the WHO, cardiovascular diseases, CVDs, are the #1 causes of death globally, taking an estimated 17.9 million lives each year, although deaths attributable to cardiac arrests are not new in the country. It has continuously become a noticeable cause of medical concern, whereby people who appear physically healthy suddenly slump and die. Now, to help us make more sense of this, the causes, risk factors, symptoms, and of course treatment, is a medical practitioner. Here in the studio with us, Dr. Tuyi Mebawondo. Good morning, Doc, and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr.
Good morning,
Tuyi.
Michael Nars. Good morning, sister.
I told you I was going to get the pronunciation of your surname correct, and I hope I killed it.
Well, correct? It's okay.
Thank you very much.
It's okay. I'll pardon you. I'll pardon you.
It's all right. So, Doc, what is cardiac arrest, and what's the relationship between this and heart attack?
Okay, that's a very good question. Now, the heart, simply put, has to beat. As beam, 2 beats, and it's short rest. The beating of the heart is started through an electrical conduction around the fibers of the heart that allow that synchronous beating perpetually until it stops. For whatever reason, when the heart stops beating, okay, when it stops beating, we call it a cardiac arrest. Now, interestingly, there are organs that cannot do without blood for the shortest period. Brain is one of them, heart is one. So because the whole body relies on the heart to pump the blood around every system. So but when you now look at the heart, anything that has to stop the beating of the heart is an acute emergency. It's becoming epidemic worldwide, and we're seeing it cropping into our own system. Even a person that appears healthy yesterday, slumped, died. Somebody that is just walking along, slumped, died. So it's an acute, really acute emergency. Now, when you are talking about heart attack, like the word is, it's an attack. What that one does is that there's a blood supply to the heart because the heart itself has blood supply. When there's a compromise to the blood supply to the heart, we call that one heart attack. It's also an emergency, but it's not as sudden. The death does not come as sudden as you see
with the cardiac arrest.
Okay, most of the challenges happen in the heart. And like the statistics you put out, number one cause of death worldwide, at least 6 million people dying from, 70.6 million people dying from it worldwide. And the cause, the cardiac cause, okay, of heart attack is actually half of those deaths. You know, there are so many things, you know, because when you talk about cardiovascular diseases, you know, cardiac, that's heart, and the vascular system, the diseases, you know, accounts for 70.6 or 70.9 million deaths worldwide. But half of that is as a result of cardiac arrest.
All right, so you've mentioned, you've given us an in-depth explanation on what this is. Now, what are some of the causes of this cardiac arrest? Because, like the analysis my colleague read out, the commentary, someone can be seen very healthy now, and the next minute he slumped. There was a video of someone in River State was dancing, and he slumped, and the MC people around thought he was part of the dance. He just stayed, and he was so stiff, and that's how the guy died. So what are these causes and risk factors of this?
Okay, now let's look at risk factor. Because as a public health physician, I will look at the public health perspective to this thing, and that is what we need most. Because we are looking at the clinical aspect, that we know nobody, even if you're hearing me, you know we do much. But let's look at the risk factor, what we call modifiable risk factors, okay, and non-modifiable. Non-modifiable means that you can't do anything much about it. For instance, if someone has what we call a congenital heart problem, has a challenges with heart, a genetic heart problem, some syndromes that can actually predispose the heart to go into arrest, okay, that's when you can modify it. If you had a family history, you can wake up and pump your blood, change your blood, and say that, listen, I'm changing my family. Now I don't have the family history, okay? There are those factors that you cannot modify, okay? But the key issue is for us to look at those factors, risk factors that we can modify. One, smoking. I have Googled during the World No Smoking Day. I had to speak on few media. I have searched what is the benefit of smoking cigarette. None. Google it. So now, none. No single benefit. If you're a smoker, risk of cardiac arrest is high. There are more than 7,000 chemicals in cigarettes that can mess the system up. So please, smoker, consider quitting. It won't help you. Secondly, history of diabetes, okay? Weight, if your weight keeps increasing, you are putting a lot of stress on your heart, and it can stop. So those are common things that, you know. Sedentary life, we have to sit down forever, nowhere. You say, okay, it's a big deal for me to want to go there and take Okada instead of me to walk. You have to consistently maintain your weight, constantly be active and not live a sedentary life. You know, if your eating habits, you have to eat a lot of, you know, quite a lot of foods that are poisonous now, especially at the level of the fast food industry. Quite a lot of them are poisonous because they push your lipids, what we call the fat inside the blood, up. Once this one puts up, it puts you in a risk of having. Now, the other thing we've seen really is the massive use of psychoactive substances and all sorts of drugs by the youth. Anabolic steroid, they want to carry weight because then some of them want to feel high. You know what? They mix all sorts of concoction that are detrimental to the health of the heart. So now we look at all these things because that's why you see now that, yes, cardiac arrest can occur at any age. That's why you now see that quite a lot of young guys are having cardiac arrest. Why? They mix all sorts of drugs, they take it, the thing went to the heart, shoot the heart into fibrillation, and the heart stops. Okay?
Now, closely linked to the question Margaret asked you are the signs and symptoms.
Now, interestingly, this is the key issue. It may not even show signs and symptoms.
Wow.
The person will just wake up and slump. But again, that is the place of regular checkup, you know, that somebody must say, okay, let me even look at this thing. But palpitation means that somebody being aware of the heartbeat, because your heart is beating, you are not aware, unless it is in a quiet place. Probably you can feel, or you're a very thin person, you can feel the heart beating. But normally you are not aware of it. But when at a point where you have to feel your heart beating in flutters, it's not just a synchronous beating. You know, we call that palpitation. Beware. Fainting attack, syncope, somebody just stand and fainted and woke up again. Watch out. Dizziness, on extreme tiredness, because again, these are things that has to do with quality supply of blood to every part of the body. So when those things are happening, so the person needs to actually watch out and be careful. Now, because you see, apart from the cardiac causes of cardiac arrest, history of hypertension, control your blood pressure, control your sugar level. It's very key. So what they call cardiomyopathy, where the heart just gets, the muscle just get thickened unnecessarily. I remember those days, many years ago, as a nurse officer, many years ago, I had to certify one of the greatest footballer dead because, he had a cardiac arrest while playing for Nigeria and passed on. So when at the post-mortem, we saw a cardiomyopathy, a thickened heart, and we didn't know all the while. I remember the case of cardio. Something nearly happened until he had to do a medical, with Inter Milan or so. So these are the things. Control your hypertension, control your sugar, control your weight, cardiomyopathy, ischemic, what we call the heart attack, anything that shorten the blood supply to the heart and cause damage to the heart. Even somebody bleeding, okay, if the bleeding is massive, if you cut oxygen supply to the heart, and we can see cardiac arrest. If there's a punch to the heart suddenly, a trauma, like a baseball hitting the heart, sometimes it can disrupt the flow of the electrical system around the heart and cause what we call cardiac arrest. If you live a life that you don't give a damn and you say, okay, wait, I have holy water, I have blood or something, this and that, I have one special thing that's protecting me, you're wasting your time because there's a spiritual aspect of health, there's a physical aspect of health. What you need to do at the physical aspect of health, spiritual aspect of health will not do it. You need to
and vice versa.
Yeah, you need to focus. Well, I'm not a spiritualist, so I don't know about what the spiritual health of health is about. But the physical, I know. You understand? So I will insist that focus on what you know. Spiritual is a lot of unknown.
Yeah.
It's a huge unknown, and everybody can claim spirituality at different level. But when it comes to, finding out what exactly your heart, the health of your heart is, we can easily get it done. Your sugar level, we can easily get it done. Your weight, we know that. Okay. Your smoking, you stop it. Okay?
All right.
So these are the key things. The physical aspect, let us come back and focus on them. Okay. And take decision to promote not just our life, not just our heart, but also our life. Why should anybody be in a hurry to die?
Dr. Tui, you mentioned the risk of smoking. Because you said there are about 7,000 chemicals in cigarette. Now, there's an argument that marijuana, what people call weed, is a natural plant and it's healthy. All of the arguments that say, some people say I don't smoke, I'm a smoker, I don't smoke cigarette, but I smoke weed. And please, I want you to clarify this.
Smoke is smoke.
Okay.
Even in some countries, it's seen as
medicinal.
No, smoke is smoke. Please don't let us deceive ourselves. Now, the marijuana, the marijuana itself contains a lot of things. The oil, okay, and the extract can be used. Whereas once you light it and smoking it, I don't care whether you are smoking hashish, shisha, cigarette, marijuana. Smoke is smoke. It reduces from head to toe. It affects from head to toe, from the hair, skin, sexuality. If you say a man that is smoking, of course the sexuality will reduce. Even a female's reproductive capacity will reduce from smoking. Don't let anybody deceive you. The risk of coronary heart disease increases. You know, it's a lot of poison to the system. And then the carcinogens, the risk of breast
cancer,
everywhere, lung cancer, breast cancer. So, now, please go and Google it. I'm challenging anybody like this now. Advantages of smoking. Let me see whether you see anyone there.
Okay, now still talking about cardiac arrest. Does it cut across all the ages?
Indeed, indeed. Because what happens is that you can see cardiac arrest in even a child, even a newborn, but the cause may be different. Because why? Congenital heart diseases. You know, either a heart disease affect the conduction of the electrical, or even affecting some of the genetics, like Marfan syndrome can cause even a cardiac arrest. Even people with sickle cell diseases can have compromise to the blood supply to the heart and then experience those kind of. So it can happen. But when you're talking about the peak age, 45 to 75, that is the peak age. But we now see that the age is falling. The peak age is falling gradually because of some of these extraneous things that we mentioned. Use of substances, anabolic steroid, drugs, sedentary lifestyle, hyperlipidemia. All those things are dropping the age of cardiac arrest and sudden death as we see it. And this massive neglect for what our health is also, you know, causing this problem.
Dr. Tuyi, before we wrap up, we don't have so much time. You mentioned a lot of things concerning cardiovascular diseases, and as a medical practitioner for years, professional, there are some, you can recommend some foods, or I know there are foods that aid, well, I'm not a medical practitioner, but there are foods that, you know, they say would aid, will help you reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases, some kind of lifestyle, some things you eat. What are the recommendations you can give to us?
Thank you. I hope I mentioned alcohol.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't mention
Please, let me mention alcohol. Alcohol
Oh, wow.
will increase the risk of cardiac arrest and cardiovascular diseases.
Sorry, but they said red wine is good for the heart, and red wine is alcoholic.
Wait, you see, now what we're saying is this. A red wine, the way wine is taken in Nigeria, is not you put 3 bottles and say, I want a shark. You understand? It's usually because, you see, there are 3 cups in a bottle of 750. Because this cup is about 250 ml. There are about 3 cups of this in a bottle of red wine. And the red wine is taking a cup, you know, usually after a meal.
Okay.
It's not the kind of thing people go around and say, I want to feel high and drink everything possible and mix all sorts of things. Now, alcohol, if you are a consistent consumer of alcohol, 2 bottles, 3 bottles in a day, okay, you increase your risk of a cardiovascular challenge. Now, what do we do? The first thing is to assess your risk. Do you have a family, you know, either immediate or distant family with heart disease? Please take note. Family history of hypertension? Take note. You know, then now you first of all look at it that, what do I do? What's happening to my weight? How do I fight my weight? Sometimes it could be quite a challenge, especially if you come from that family background with obese. So you have to really consciously, then you come back to your habits, which are called modifiable factors now. Quit smoking. Reduce alcohol to the minimum, the best minimum, okay? Now, choose your food, because what we tend to push is more of fruits and vegetables in your portion of food and less of those carbohydrates. Anyhow you look at it, fruits and vegetables will do a lot of things to us, aside from helping the heart, you know, because you know, some of you who are Christians, you also know that we transited from eating fruits, because initially I think it was fruit that God gave to us until we now move to meat. Since we started eating a lot of meat, we saw the challenge we're facing. So now, if you need to eat meat, then you have to take more of the lean meat, more of the fish, more of the chicken without the skin.
Yeah.
That is the kind of meat that you have to do. And then, of course, the aspect of doing a checkup becomes so important. You can't say, I am covered by the blood of whoever. Please, there are natural laws. God does not violate his own laws.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tsui.
Yes. You've said it all there, and I hope the viewer definitely must have gained so much from the pieces of advice, golden pieces of advice you've given to us this morning. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been Dr. Tsui Meba-Wundu treating cardiovascular diseases, and today we focused on cardiac arrest. Now you know it all, and I guess you're going to learn how to live a better life. Yeah, he talked about exercises, and that now takes us to sports. That will be directly after this break. Stay with us.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's true unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery. Ooh.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash. Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu fufu is so nice.
It's true unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores.
Welcome back. This is still iBrand Daybreak. Now let's talk about the story that are emanating from the world of sports. Well, good morning, Michael. Good morning, Margaret. I forgot you guys were there for a minute. Let's talk about those things from the world of sports. In the period of international football, yes, you very well know club football is over at this point, and it's all been about international football. Yes, yesterday the Super Eagles of Nigeria were in action once again against the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. We know how the last one went down, the one on Friday. We lost that one. And yesterday it was quite another drag game. The Super Eagles couldn't produce anything in that one. It ended goalless right there in Austria. And it's somehow we've seen how the Super Eagles have been unable to really win games, friendly games under Coach Gernot Rohr. Say about 19 games they've played under this man in charge of the team, and they've won just 5 of those friendly games. But I guess it's one of those things, they take it as friendly games, and that's why most of the times we get to watch them play, it's mostly draws or possibly defeats under the big man Coach Gernot Rohr. But I guess it's just a preparatory game for the qualifiers that's coming up later in September. Possibly if they could not produce anything right now, I know they are planning something special for Nigerians when they take to the competitive games later on in September. Well, it was not only the Super Eagles that were in action yesterday. Let's talk about Argentina. Yes, they were also in action yesterday against Colombia. 2 rivals right there in South America, and that one ended 2-0 yesterday. Argentina scoring in the space of 8 minutes, the first 2 goals of the game. And they held on until the final minutes of the game. We got to see Colombia coming back and equalizing at the death of that game. Yes, 90 plus 4 minutes. That's when they were able to get the equalizer. And Argentina, to their biggest dismay, they were unable to win their rivals actually right there in South America. It's quite interesting, quite an interesting game, a preparatory game for the Copa America. We would be seeing these 2 teams take on themselves possibly in the Copa America that will be starting in a couple of days. And when they do so, let's see how it will be panning out, if it will be yet another draw game, or if Argentina would be winning this one with the likes of Lionel Messi, or if Colombia would be on the winning side. Sadly in that one yesterday also, we also saw Emiliano Martinez of Aston Villa being injured for Argentina. We know how integral he had been for his club side in the English Premier League, and it's sad to see he got an injury in that one. Hopefully it's not something so serious heading into the Copa America. Hopefully Argentina can field him in goal when they take on their opponents in the Copa America. Talk about another person who got injured in yesterday's international games. Talk about Karim Benzema. Yes, yesterday France took on their opponents in another friendly game, but in Europe this time around. And unfortunately for France, they saw the big man Karim Benzema, who was just returning to the team for quite his second game since 2015. He got injured in that one. But the good one for France is why Benzema was getting injured. Oliver Giroud came on and scored 2 goals for them. That ensured they won that game yesterday by 3-0. Well, at this point, we can only hope for Benzema, who is returning to the French team for the first time since 2015, that it's not a very serious injury and he can take part in the championship with France. Yes, talk about the Euro Championship. That's expected to be starting a couple of days from now. Michael, I guess that's all we have for you on sports today.
Thank you so much, Jidechi. Gernot Rohr. You know, there was a time Nigeria considered or contemplated laying him off, but one thing led to another, and he was still retained. I don't think anything better than what we are seeing now would ever come out of this man's tenure. What do you think, Jidechi?
Michael, I think at this point, Gernot Rohr, I'm one of the people who holds the sentiment. that Genotro has picked. But I guess the NFF still feels he's the man for the job. So I guess if that's what the NFF think, that's what it is for Nigerians. We don't have a say over that right now.
Okay, let's keep our fingers crossed. Thank you very much there, Jidechi. All right, now it's time for us to go straight into the next segment, which is talking about social media bars.
All right, now, you know, that's Michael always pushes that part to me, of course. I don't know why he pushes it to me, but I embrace it with all joy and peace, happiness, satisfaction.
I love that. I can't hear anything better.
All right, now, social media is buzzing. You know, yesterday, some popular influencers, one of which is Sunday Ednot, rather, shared a video on Instagram of artists Tiwa Savage and Shei, who Shei is a judge on Nigerian Idol, the controversial judge that everyone is talking about on Nigerian Idol. They were exchanging words, almost fighting in a hair salon. And now, here's how Facebook users, I don't know to tweet that thing, God help us. Facebook users are reacting to this. Now, Sergeant Busy Mouth's head, Tiwa and Shei, on a two no fit distract us for this country, on a no reach. President of UAR, where we been stopped, like, where were we before the fight? Now, Precious Okoro said, since Shei disqualified my friend from Nigeria Idol, I just didn't like her. I did not get what transpired between her and Tiwa. Shei is wrong. I mean, she's always wrong. By the way, it's the phone from you. Oh, wow. Well, Miracle Oyinyechi Peace said, minding your business makes your skin glow. Tiwa Savage 2021. You know, that's one of the things Tiwa Savage said to Shei. Well, minding your skin is not glowing because you don't mind your business and because you are tatafo or lofofo, like people would call it. That's Tiwa Savage, not me. Please, I didn't say that. And Canix answered and said, this their fight where them they use Queen's English fight. It no comes sweet. Therefore, use speaking English and tear clothes. Happiness Godwin said, when will Stallone ever change, it always has a spirit of quarrel and gossip in its atmosphere. And lastly, Tony Ben says, Tiwa says to her, don't say hi to me ever. Let sleeping dogs lie. Shey, you block me on Instagram, block me in real life too. We are not friends. Well, Maki, I don't know if you watched the, well, you might not have time for that because really...
it's quite unfortunate that such a thing is happening between two celebrities who have a huge followership. A lot of people out there are looking up to those people, and seeing them as their role models and watch them doing things kids do.
But celebrities are, well, I would say doing things kids do. Celebrities are human beings too. These people have flesh and blood. Like we forget that they are human beings. Like they have feelings.
Not doing this kind of thing. There are a million and one better ways to settle it.
Oh well, I agree with you. But then I see, I saw the video and it was amusing. Someone mentioned that they were arguing with Queen's English. No, they were like, when someone is arguing with you and still maintains their, they were both raised in the US, so they still maintain their US accent. Tiwa Savage put some Yoruba inside, was switching from Yoruba to the US accent. It was sweet, so people feel like if you are really quarreling, you not speak pidgin, tear your shirt, and
I don't even care what they sound like. What matters to me is their behavior. Well, it leaves much to be desired.
What I also think is also they're human beings and they have feelings anyway. But they will still
you're entitled to your opinion.
Well, they will
still stand where I am. That is unbecoming.
Okay, then. They will still settle anyway. So, but let's not even go there. All right, now we have to wrap up the show. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday, and we're stepping a bit into the weekend, and I'm so excited because weekend is here. And like Michael Nat will always say, June 12th is interesting. You wouldn't want to miss. Short from Friday, the June 12th excitement is on iBrand
here
TV.
On iBrand. Yeah.
If you missed it, you are on a long thing. So we'll just end with a score to say it's coming from Greta Thunberg, an 18-year-old, who said, I have learned that you are never too small to make a difference. Say that again. He said, I have learned that you are never too small to make a difference. So whether you're 40, you're 60, you're 10, you're 5, you're 2, you're even 1, you're never too small to make a difference. And also, you're never too big to make a difference.
Sure.
So,
quite balanced there.
Yeah. My name is Margaret Opara.
And I'm Michael Nath. See you tomorrow.